Good day traders, welcome to this week's RMDTRADER Weekly Market Fix, where we will discuss the top 5 best trading setups for the week looking ahead. Most markets has continued to sell off, which remains in line with our expectations and previous discussions. And for this week, we pretty much expect more of the same, but let's have a look at what we can expect and what opportunities there remain. For this week, let's start by looking at cryptocurrencies first. This is Bitcoin, and currently we are still consolidating as we have been doing for quite a number of days now. Just looking at the impulse corrective and a new impulse wave that we are currently in, we can see that we probably have not yet seen the full sell-off in cryptocurrencies. So at this stage, I think in the short term, we are probably still likely to test the lows from 2 weeks ago, and that would be just below the yearly S1 pivot at 25,500. So that would be a short-term target. Of course, in the medium term, I'm probably expecting a move below 20,000. But also there's also the chance that we might still see a correction or a short relief rally, testing some of these levels, either at about 34,000, 45,000, or perhaps even as high as this area of the breakout level, which is at 38,000, although that remains unlikely at this stage. So highest probability at this stage is just another retest of the lows just below that yearly S1 at about 25,500. Looking at our commodities and looking at gold specifically, we still have this lower diagonal offering support. This is our long-term trend line, and so far this has once again held up quite nicely. We're also trading back above the daily 200 SMA, and at this stage I think we will at least be testing that 21 daily EMA. That would be at about 1,860, so that would be a short-term target for this week. And of course, I'm just going to remove these Fibonacci levels. But there's also a chance we might still do a test of that daily 100 SMA, and that is at about 1,885. So both those levels likely areas to be tested this week. So best to keep an eye on price action at those levels. Moving on to Brent crude oil. We can see that we have been in consolidation for quite some time. We are currently making new highs and higher lows. So this is indicating to me that there is definitely a bullish pressure. We are also finding some support from this yearly R2 at 107. So just looking at first day's price action of that level, it is showing me that there is definitely buyers stepping in. And for this week, being conservative, I think we should have a target of probably the weekly R1. That would be at 116.80. And perhaps we will continue seeing a very more moderate move to the upside, where we might eventually get some higher targets, such as that weekly R2 at 121. Moving on to our indices and looking at the Nasdaq specifically, we have our head and shoulder pattern still very much active, and we have retested that neckline breakout level that was at 12,500, and then very briefly sold off after that retest. At this stage, trend remains firmly down, and I suspect we should see another low this week at about 11,200. There is a chance that we might still see a relief rally. It's difficult to say where that will, what level that will happen, but I'd say at this stage probably not much higher than the weekly R2, judging from current momentum. So that would be at about 13,000 to about 13,080. But highest probability move remains to the downside, in line with the current trend, which is still down. Moving on to our Forex, just quickly looking at the USDJPY. USDJPY has enjoyed a very extended rally, but has now reached what appears to be the end of that initial impulse wave. And I suspect, and I'm just removing some of these previous price levels, but looking at that head and shoulders pattern, we can see projected down, it's giving us a target very close to that 50% retracement level of about 123.5. So that would be a likely target for the next week or two. Of course, we are still trading above important horizontal support, being the monthly pivot at 127.50. So if we break below that, that would be my target. Of course, there is a chance that this initial pattern is invalidated, and in order for that to happen, we would need to see a close above the right shoulder, which would be at about 129.70. That would actually invalidate that head and shoulders pattern and give us a further continuation to the upside. That concludes this week's video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, we wish you all the best of your trading, and remember, trade smart and trade successful.